Welcome to Ultimate Fighting. Welcome to UFC 30. We welcome you inside the beautiful Trump Taj Mahal here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, as we are set tonight for UFC 30. Tonight signifies a new beginning with new leadership, with great vision. And tonight we promise you to take what is already the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts to a higher level. And someday, everyone will talk about the UFC as the premier sporting event in the world. Two men who know the UFC very well. My partners in the broadcast booth tonight, the former gold medalist Jeff Blatnick, our former middleweight champion Frank Shamrock, and we speak middleweights. Frank, we'll start with you. Tito Ortiz to defend his belt this evening against the very powerful Evan Tanner.
Every time I see Tito come out, he's a brand new fighter. He's got new skills. He's dangerous. I'm just wholly impressed with him. As an athlete, as a fighter, this is his next coming out party.
Jeff?
Well, Tito started out as a typical wrestler and learned the ground and pound game, but he has improved his stand-up. And last year at the submission grappling tournament known as Abu Dhabi, one of the greatest in the world, he finished second. So he's picked up a lot of submission skills. He's become a well-rounded fighter. He is the middleweight champion.
Jeff and Frank, there's always great excitement as we get set to see great competitors inside the octagon, but tonight the enthusiasm is unbridled.
Oh, there's no question about that. There's new management. Zuffa is now the owner of the UFC. This is no longer that same old spectacle of way back when. This is a sport, and Zuffa wants to make it one of the greatest sports in the world.
Frank, it's evolved like you thought it always could and always would.
It absolutely is. This is the sport of the future. This is the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts. If you're not here, you ain't involved.
Can I tell you one thing? The future begins right now. The future begins tonight. Let's welcome in fourth member of our broadcast team. Let's check in with James Wormy.
Thank you very much, Goldie. I'll tell you what, it is great to be back at the Taj. It's great to be in Atlantic City. The fans of New Jersey have embraced mixed martial arts as a sport, and why shouldn't they? We're bringing them the top talent, the top fighters in the world. A lot of the credit for that goes to the gentleman who joined me now, Dana White, president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Dana, congratulations on your first show. That's got to feel good.
Thank you very much, James. I appreciate it. We're very excited. We got a sellout crowd here, 5,000 people, revved and ready to go.
They are certainly revved. They are certainly ready to go. We've got veterans on the card. We've got newcomers on the card. We've got 2 belts on the line. What else does the UFC have to look forward to?
Basically, what we want to do is we want to make this the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts. We want to make it more fan-friendly. We want to get the crowd involved in it, and we want to bring back the best fighters in the world.
Well, with leadership from guys like Lorenzo Fertitta, his brother Frank, of course, Dana, the future looks bright, bright, bright for the UFC. Goldie, back to you.
James, thank you very much. We are truly excited to be here tonight at a wonderful venue worthy of hosting this great event, the Trump Taj Mahal. Our octagon regulations, as always, Jeff.
3 judges will score the bout. It's a 10-point must system. Bout durations, rounds are 5 minutes long. For a normal bout, it would be 3 5-minute rounds, and in the championship, 5 5-minute rounds. Winner gets 10, loser 9. It could be a dominant round, and if so, it could be 10-8. Fouls also can impact the score.
The round winner gets 10 points, or the opponents get less, and the octagon control is always of ultimate importance. Let's check in with the veteran voice of the octagon, working his 18th Ultimate Fighting Championship. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Mark Ennis Arena, located where the boardwalk meets the sea at the beautiful Trump Taj Mahal Resort Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tonight, Zuffa Entertainment presents the finest mixed martial arts event of its kind in the world today. This is UFC 30, the Battle on the Boardwalk. This event is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board with Mr. Larry Hazard, Commissioner. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to begin the Ultimate Fighting Championship! Let's start off UFC 30 with our very first fight. A 2-round heavyweight bout with the man now entering the octagon. He is an expert grappler and is making his octagon debut. Standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 285 pounds. He comes to us from Johannesburg, South Africa. Please welcome the White Rhino, Mark Robinson.
So Mark Robinson will be part of fight number 1 tonight, a heavyweight matchup against the talented Bobby Hoffman. As Bruce Buffer told us, he is from South Africa. He is now fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia. He's got some jiu-jitsu skills. He is possibly the strongest man ever to compete in mixed martial arts.
He certainly is a brute, a strong sumo background, freestyle and Greco-Roman background, and you can just look at him. Look how thick he is, his legs, his arms, his shoulders. Man's got some power.
Hails from a long lineage of grapplers. His grandfather was a wrestler in England. He has trained in judo since age 6. 2 words, Frank Shamrock, about this man: pure power.
Pure power. That is his style. He is incredibly strong. He's very skilled at grappling now, and he's really focused on his striking.
His opponent will be Bobby Hoffman, the 34-year-old, fighting out of the Militich camp in Bettendorf, Iowa.
Bobby Hoffman, Centerville, Iowa. I'm 6'2", 260 pounds. I'm a brawler, just pit fighting brawler. TNT and dynamite, baby. A left hand and a right hand. If I don't get you with one, I'm gonna get you with the other. And this year, I'm on the hunt for the belt. I fight because I believe I was born to fight.
And now his opponent entering the octagon. He is a Militich fighting systems expert with a mixed martial arts record of 17-3. Standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 253 pounds. He's fighting out of Bettendorf, Iowa. Please welcome Bobby Hoffman.
So Bobby Hoffman, the 34-year-old who lost in his UFC debut back at UFC 27 on September 22nd of 2000 in New Orleans to a former champion in Maurice Smith, is set to try to make things a bit different for himself tonight.
Hoffman is a banger, and you heard him. He says he's in the hunt for the belt, but standing in front of him is a big, powerful man. Hoffman wants to throw punches. It'll be interesting here to see if whether Robinson can get Hoffman down to the ground and turn it into his kind of ground and pound game. The one knock on Robinson will be he's only had one fight that really involves, or one fight that involves striking. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of chin he has, what kind of stand-up skills he has.
Absolutely, and Hoffman has knockout power, and he's really worked on his conditioning.
Tail of the tape between Bobby Hoffman and Mark David Robinson. Both are over 30 years old. Hoffman is 2 inches taller, but gives away quite a number of pounds to the bigger and stronger Mark David Robinson. Our referee for this first fight of the night in the heavyweight division, working his 33rd UFC. Here's Big John McCarthy.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on!
My favorite words in this great sport of mixed martial arts. The fans are ready for a show, and we are ready to give it to them as the heavyweights get things started here tonight.
Robinson looking to clinch, chasing Hoffman now into the fence. Look for him to reach down, secure the hips, and try to rip him down to the ground.
Robinson has a lot of background in Greco-Roman wrestling.
Now that means he understands upper body ties, the ability to control your opponent with the clinch. But Hoffman having none of it, but he's not really getting any room to unload his right hand. Robinson just bull rushing him into the fence.
Now Bobby Hoffman is one of the more boisterous competitors that we will see this evening, to say the least, Frank.
Yeah, I think the term was loose cannon. I think been thrown around there a few times.
Come on, work, work, work.
I like the way Robinson's moving. He's light on his feet. We saw the lateral movement was really quick. An athlete.
Now Hoffman's big thing is that he trains and fights out of the Militich fighting systems, but Pat Militich is not in his corner tonight. So has he shown up for enough workouts?
There's a smart thing by Hoffman. He's using his knees now, and that may open up enough of an area for him to spin off the fence. Robinson wants to bring him down, but he's only using the push factor, just straight ahead. Fence is holding Hoffman up.
Now, Mark David Robinson, ironically, in this very building, back in 1996, won the World Sumo Wrestling Championship. So he hopes that this is a lucky place for him again tonight.
He's got a body lock position, hands locked with an over and under. One overhook, one underhook. If he throws, he wants to throw to his right. That's for Robinson. Hoffman staying busy with some really kind of rabbit punches to the side and back of the head. But he's unable to really get any power because he's up against the fence, can't wind up. And Robinson trying to get some distance to throw, but Hoffman would have got away. There's a right hand that came across.
Right across the temple. And I feel like Robinson's got to do some damage here. He's just holding. He's just trying to get that throw. He should be kneeing that leg there, trying to even up, move him around, trying to loosen him up a little bit.
Who's expending more energy in this position?
I don't know. I got to say Robinson right now because he's taking the damage as well as doing the wrestling. Right now, Bobby is striking and wrestling, and Robinson's only wrestling.
I agree with what Frank's saying. And what I don't like is Robinson is just bullying straight ahead. You said lateral motion early. He's abandoned lateral motion now. You would think he'd try to create an angle to get in there instead of trying to fight through the arms of Hoffman.
And he's starting to react to them guts to the belly. You see him back up a little bit. You see him change his stance.
Now Bobby Hoffman trying to rebound from his loss in the UFC, sports an impressive 17-3 record overall in mixed martial arts. A loose cannon, to say the least, with some serious knockout power.
Oh, nice knee by Hoffman.
He's on the head again. He's on the head again.
And that's the one thing, Frank and Jeff both. It's not just knockout power with the hands, but knockout power with the legs.
Distance now, Hoffman can throw punches.
Yeah, there's a big left. He connected with the left to Mark Robinson. But Robinson wants to bear hug. He wants to keep his opponent close. The six-time South African powerlifting champion, dominant in that sport throughout the 80s.
He's got the power to overwhelm Hoffman and force him to back up. But his problem is the fence is holding Hoffman up, and unless he creates angle, nothing's going to happen. Big punch.
There's the big shot from Bobby Hoffman that we talked about. And it is a knockout victory for Bobby Hoffman. All it took was one good one, and down goes Robinson.
Hoffman worked hard to avoid the takedown from Robinson. And once he was able to get a little bit of room there, Goldie, he was able to deliver that shiver to the head of Robinson, put him down cleanly.
Here comes that elbow across the top. Bang! You see him get him right across the temple. Pushing that head up. That's where he did the damage. He pushed that head up and got them knees in. There it is, right there.
And you can see he went out quick.
Yeah, that one stoned him.
There's the power. Boom. A clean shot, and in close quarters like that, a wise tactical move by Bobby Hoffman to use the forearm when he couldn't extend to use the fist.
That, and he's got Robinson leaning into him. His head is always going to be there.
Now, so Robinson was trying to hold on, and Hoffman was trying to hold into him, and he wins in impressive fashion.
Robinson, a late replacement for Ian Freeman. He was game while he was out there, but Hoffman eventually scoring the victory with that shiver.
Let's get the official word as Bobby Hoffman celebrates from Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 3 minutes, 27 seconds of the very first round, we have a winner by knockout. For the winner, Bobby Hoffman.
Well, you also heard Bobby Hoffman thank Jeremy Horn for teaching him the use of elbows effectively. And ironically, Jeremy Horn will be on the card this evening. It is a matchup in the middleweight division between Elvis Sinasek and Jeremy Horn.
Jeremy Horn, middleweight. I don't have a nickname because I don't like him. I don't want one. I don't really have a goal. I just want to fight whoever they put in front of me. A level head is my greatest strength in the ring. When I step into the octagon, I'm going through the fight in my head over and over. I always come to win.
Now, making his way to the octagon, he is an MFS expert with a UFC record of 4-2 and a mixed martial arts record of 45-4. Standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 200 pounds. Fighting out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, please welcome back to the octagon, Jeremy Horn.
Well, to say this young man is on a roll would be an understatement. After losing his first 2 fights inside the octagon, one to the man sitting to my right, Frank Shamrock, in his debut, and then by guillotine choke in Ultimate Brazil to Ebenezer Brago, Jeremy Horn has won 4 straight, and he has won 4 straight impressively.
Absolutely impressively. This kid has improved tenfold.
Elvis Sinisek, middleweight, Sydney, Australia. This is my UFC debut. I don't give 100% in the ring, I give 110% in the ring. My greatest weapon is my mind. I'm going to submit him or KO him. He's going to decide how I win. I didn't come all the way from Sydney just to lose. This UFC, it's a dream come true.
Now entering the octagon is his opponent, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert making his UFC debut. Standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 196 pounds. Fighting out of Sydney, Australia, he is the King of Rock and Rumble. Please welcome Elvis Sinisek.
Elvis told me yesterday he describes himself as a computer nerd. Internet technology, his full-time job back in his home country of Australia, but he is a very good fighter and likes to say that his greatest asset is his mind.
He does say that. I gotta say his greatest asset is his jaw. He's got great submissions. He's a good striker. And like I said, he took me to the distance. He wore me out.
Yes, he did. And in addition to that, he is very excited to be here this evening. As he said, I did not come all the way from Australia to be defeated here in my UFC debut. The first Australian ever featured in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So it is a matchup in the middleweight division between Elvis Sinisek and Jeremy Horn. Sinisek is 5 years older. The size does not appear to be an advantage for either fighter, Jeff.
No, they're both long and lanky. We already know Horn is very good on the ground. According to the Pat Miletich camp, he's working hard on his stand-up and can now bang really hard with both hands.
So Sinisek set for his debut against a very experienced fighter in Jeremy Horn. Our referee is Mario Yamasaki.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Middleweight division is deep, it is talented. A debut against a man who has really turned it on, Jeremy Horn.
Nice left hook by Horn, and it just missed again.
Sinisek trying to get busy early. And Horn says greatly his boxing and kickboxing have improved.
And Sinisek decided to go to the ground there. He wasn't taken down. He wanted to go down to his backside. Let's see how he operates with his guard.
Now, Horn is very well versed on the ground. In fact, submissions have been a regularity in his last few victories.
And there may not be anyone out there, Frank. Let me ask you, is there anyone that fights more in the last year than Jeremy Horn?
I have never seen anyone fight more than Jeremy Horn. He's got to be the most experienced fighter we got in the octagon today.
45-4. That is 40 victories, 5 losses, 4 draws in his mixed martial arts career. That is a busy, busy fighter, and he loves it. He's so unassuming and so classy. You would talk to him in the street and wonder how this man does this for a living. But not only does he do it, Jeremy Horn, but he does it quite well.
And on top of that, I still think he's at, midway on his learning curve. He's a young kid, and he's picking up a lot.
Absolutely. He is just on the cusp of really learning how to use his body and learning how to use all these techniques.
Jeremy told me yesterday he thought that he and Elvis were equally as comfortable on the ground, but Jeremy thinks now he's got a bit of an edge on the feet. So he would like the fight to be stood up. Obviously, we saw Elvis want to take it right down to where he's most comfortable with his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background.
And Elvis doing a pretty nice job here of controlling the ground and pound. Horn not really being overly aggressive with punches, and it seems as though Sinasek is tying up his arms rather well.
Horn is a very patient fighter. He really takes his time, working the ground game, staying safe, scoring, trying to work for the hold, trying to work for the finish. But I really feel like, as you guys were talking about, that Horn's strength on this is his striking, is his stand-up ability.
It seems in their contrast, that's probably where he would have the biggest edge.
And that's not something that we would have said about Jeremy Horn 12 to 18 months ago.
Absolutely not. He came in mainly as a grappler, mainly as a jiu-jitsu guy. And even though we saw Elvis get off the first kick, I still feel like if Jeremy Horn got up, he might be able to end the show.
Now that is what he would like to eventually do, but there is a comfort factor for both fighters here. Elvis Sinasek told me yesterday growing up, and just like everybody in Australia, he was going to be a policeman or a fireman, and then he started to play around with computers, and now works the help desk at Price Waterhouse.
Triangle.
Trouble here. Trying to compute towards it. He's got it working. Let's see if there's a finish. Let's see what happens here.
Oh, he's got him straight.
There's the tap. There's the tap. It's over. The thinking man fighter, Elvis Sinasek, victorious in his UFC debut.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
He computed that perfectly.
Well, the Rock and the Rumble just made the combat list out there go crazy. And this was a late fight, a late notice in preparation for Elvis to come over here and be in this UFC. And he just put away a very, very experienced fighter. And he seemed to know when to go ahead and slap it on. His long legs clamped on Horn. Some good punches by Horn early, but then he goes ahead, ties up the arm, sinks that triangle. And he maintains the control on that arm, and I think that was great. That's a combination, go from triangle to bar arm, and Horn just ran out of air.
Wow, well done. Well done by Elvis Sinasek. Take a look again, Jeff. I mean, he extends the body perfectly and really puts the pressure on Jeremy
Right
Horn.
there, he's got it sunk really deep, and he's still controlling the arm that he can go to the arm bar with, and just a great job by Elvis. He surprised Jeremy Horn.
Now, Elvis knows submissions. Elvis knows victory here in his UFC debut. Let's check in with Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to a tap out by an armbar, we have a winner at 2 minutes, 59 seconds of the very first round. For the winner, the king of rock and rumble, Elvis Sinasek.
The best game in the world for mixed martial arts, and that means great fights and great competitors, like Josh Barnett, who won the first time he entered the octagon. He is set for a heavyweight matchup against Pedro, the Rock Hizzo, and we know one thing about Pedro Hizzo. He can hit, and he can hit hard.
Josh Barnett, heavyweight, Seattle, Washington. They call me the baby-faced assassin. Now, I'm undefeated in the octagon, and I'm undefeated in no-holds-barred fighting. My strength is my well-rounded fighting style. I'm going there to take care of business. I came here to win.
Now entering the octagon, he is an AMC pancration expert with a mixed martial arts record of 24-0. Standing 6'3" tall, weighing in at 256 pounds. Fighting out of Seattle, Washington. Please welcome the baby-faced assassin, Josh Barnett.
The baby-faced assassin. I will pass guard, and I will submit. Born in Seattle, Washington, fighting out of Seattle, and here is a well-rounded fighter who is very good at submissions.
If I had the chance to roll around with Josh Barnett, and Josh really does have an arsenal of weapons in terms of submission, and it was interesting to hear him say that we've seen Pedro use his guard, but we've never seen anyone try to pass Pedro's guard, but they tried to ground and pound within it. He plans to pass it and look for submission locks.
And I think with his size, if he gets on the side or on the mount of Pedro, he's going to be in some trouble.
Well, if Pedro has his way, Pedro will throw punches. He will throw kicks, and he will end this fight quickly, the way he did last time he was in the octagon against the Beast.
My name is Pedro Rizzo. I live in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. My nickname is The Rock. I prefer fight standing up. My best weapon is a combination of kick and punch. I want to knock my opponent out or submit him. I don't want to fight for points.
Now his opponent entering the octagon. He is a Huas Valley Judo expert with a UFC record of 5-1. Standing 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 234 pounds. Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Welcome back, Pedro The Rock Rizzo.
In the heavyweight division, he is as big a puncher as we feature today.
I think when he knocked out Tangabbett down in Ultimate Brazil, everyone's eyes grew very wide at the punching power and the skill in his hands of Pedro Rizzo. And if there's a strength with Pedro, Frank, it's got to be his striking ability.
Absolutely. Pedro is a pro kickboxer level fighter. He gets in there. He's an excellent striker. He has great takedown defense. And he's dangerous in the clinch. He's got them knees, he's got them elbows, he's got them strong punch combinations.
The one criticism of Pedro Rizzo, and he has criticized himself for it before, is being too passive. Last time he came out with determination in New Orleans at UFC 27 against Dan the Beast Severn. He will come out with determination, he promises, here this evening. Tail of the tape, pancration against Marco Huas, Valley Judo. Rizzo's 3 years older than Josh Barnett, 2 inches shorter, and gives away 22 pounds. For Rizzo, he hopes that will not matter because he packs plenty of poundage in that big right hand.
And that's what he really wants to bring to bear. He likes that combination of leg kicks and punches, and that's what he's going to try to do to Josh Barnett.
Our referee for bout number 3 tonight, a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu himself, Mario Yamasaki.
Go back to your corner. Look at me here. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
All right, let's see what Pedro Rizzo shows up tonight, and that is the big question.
I'm also interested, Josh Barnett considers himself the Rodney Dangerfield of the mixed martial arts world. Nobody gives him respect, but the one thing about Josh, he always seems to win.
He always finds a way to win.
24-0, a mixed martial arts record for Josh Barnett. Victories over UFC veterans Bob Gilstrap, Bobby Hoffman, Dan Severn. Super Brawl 13 tournament champion, Barnett.
Nice kick there.
I like Barnett's clinching and then punching off the clinch. And we have seen Rizzo at times, I call it being a little reluctant.
Yeah, passive, reluctant, and I agree 100%. And Marco Huas really tore into Pedro Rizzo after he was reluctant against Kevin Randleman and in fights prior to that. He said, you have these God-given skills, you have to use them. And you want to talk about hero worship, you're talking Pedro Rizzo's hero worship, Frank of Marco Huas.
Absolutely. You know, when he's your master and you want to please him more than anything in this world. And Rizzo is a martial artist at heart, and he just wants to go out there and do his best.
I'm noticing something here. It seems as Rizzo's now backing up and Josh is following him, and that may be a setup for Rizzo to unload a bomb as Josh is coming in.
It is, and he landed a nice left hook to the chin right there as Josh was trying to circle out.
Now Josh is calming down on how quickly he pursues Rizzo. I think that's a smart thing to do, make Rizzo come to you a little bit.
Both are using the legs well, aren't they?
Absolutely, and Rizzo threw an interesting open hand strike to set up the leg kick. Real skilled in striking.
Now let's see what knees. Rizzo's got good knees, but he didn't bring him to bear there in the clinch.
This is a good start here to this heavyweight fight. Wow! And Rizzo trying to load up the right. So is Josh Barnett.
Rizzo's got his head. He's got to watch for the knees. There it is.
Especially if he's throwing a hook and you duck the hook, that's when you can bring the knee up.
Well, it's just like in wrestling, Jeff. You can't let him hold your head and control your head.
Lost mouthpiece of Josh Barnett. Mario Yamasaki regathers. They touch, and here we go again. Round 1. A scheduled 3 5-minute rounds if needed. I'm wondering if we're going to need it, though. Barnett not shying away at all, guys. That's a strong kick. That will leave a mark.
Instant bruise on that one. That was nice. Check with the shin.
Wow.
Josh needs to be careful. He seems to bull rush with some of his strikes, and if Hizzo's waiting for him, he can catch him. Oh, right hand by Josh.
And another kick to the same spot. And then the big, see, Josh just hesitated for a second to think about his leg, Frank, and almost didn't prove costly.
He did, and I got to think that Pedro is coming out on top in the strike, and you see him picking apart his timing. He's slowly getting shots in there.
Barnett now, see, now he's aware. Yep.
Pedro kick, I think he broke his toes. He just kicked Josh on the knee. Right on the knee on his toe.
And Barnett tries to fire in.
Oh, and
looking for a knee.
That knee just missed.
Wow. These are two game competitors.
I think Josh...
Oh, big left. And Barnett says yes. Good chin for Josh Barnett. Good shot for Pedro Hizzo.
That was one stiff jab.
Wow, I like the way these guys are going.
I think Josh Barnett is surprising a lot of people trying to go stand-up with Pedro Hizzo, and he's not doing too badly.
Well, he said he was going to. He said no one's ever struck with him. He said no one's ever struck with Pedro.
1 minute remains in round number 1. Barnett still looking, but Pedro countering. Pedro has the accuracy to hit that same spot too, doesn't he, guys?
It does, and you saw Barnett drop his hand when he got that kick, and that may be setting up a later high kick when he starts feeling that.
Listen to the crowd react here in Atlantic City. They love the way these competitors are going at it.
Barnett bleeding from the nose. Hizzo a tiny cut on the bridge of the nose.
Now, if he broke his toes, Frank, he's showing no ill effects. And now the clinch.
Watch for the knees.
The babyface assassin showing some speed. 20 seconds remains in round 1.
That was nice how he came over the head to push it outside, and he brought that knee up awful high.
Pedro's got him reacting now. You see him reaching down, checking that leg up.
Oh, there's one that glances off the earlobe. Hizzo. Oh, I like what we saw through the first 5 minutes. Great respect. This is an example of what this sport is all about. They are on their feet here in Atlantic City.
Let's look at some of the early action here. Hizzo with a nice leg kick. Barnett chasing him and catching a few punches, and there you see Josh Barnett attempting an uppercut. Hizzo counters with a nice kick. And the strength of Hizzo's kicks, Frank.
Absolutely, and he's counter kicking. Every time Josh kicks, he makes sure he counter kicks and gets that spar on the way out. You see Josh try and ham it up there, but he's gonna pay for it right there.
Giving him all the highlights, bitch.
Wow, does the winner get a title shot? I'll tell you one thing, the way these two fighters are going at it tonight, both have very bright futures. And this is the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts, and there's one of the best cornermen in the business, trainer Matt Hume.
Matt Hume is really well versed in this style of combat, in the style of pancrase. I'd have him in my corner.
We saw the damage that Maurice Smith did to Big Mark Coleman with those kicks, bringing down the big giant eventually in what is still considered one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. How does Barnett counter, and how much does he have to try to protect that left leg now as we get set for round number 2? Let's see if those things develop. A touch and a show of class. And look at the red spot on the left leg of Josh Barnett.
There's a couple of them there, and Hizzo actually has a little bit of a spot below his left eye. They worked on it in the corner. It's not cut, but it seems to have a teeny bit of a mouse there. So you know Barnett has connected as well.
I mean, this is pancration against Ali Tudor, and this has no indication that our fight is going to take it downstairs. These guys are going toe-to-toe.
Hizzo's predictable in terms of backing and circling to his right. Maybe Barnett can use that to his advantage, but Pedro seems to have the speed and quickness. Nice uppercut.
Yeah, it looks like he's got speed and combinations on him. Every time they circle around, oh, nice knee to the thigh. He always seems to get that one extra shot in on the way out. So you hear Matt Hume over there.
big right.
That right came straight down the middle and connected.
Oh, and now Barnett says bring it on.
The wrong kind of emotion to have. You want to continue to think. Oh, right hand by Barnett. Now he's in tight. Maybe he can do something with the clinch. Hizzo seems to be very comfortable to stand up with him.
Now, Pedro Hizzo made quick work. The Triple Crown champion Dan the Beast Severn. He lost to Kevin Randleman by unanimous decision after 5 rounds. That is his only loss in his UFC career. He's knocked out Trey Telligman. He's knocked out Tank Abbott. He'd like to end tonight's fight with a knockout. And impressively, Josh Barnett is 1-0. The last time we saw him was right here in this building back in November.
Oh, right hand.
And a good right hand for Josh Barnett.
Nice kick to follow.
He defeated Gan McGee that night, Jeff and Frank, in very impressive fashion. There's another shot.
Well, McGee controlled that fight earlier. He was bigger than Josh, but Josh was able to turn the tide and eventually come back and beat him.
Caught him there.
Nice combination by Josh Barnett. That's his best of the fight.
And now Pedro Hizzo's thinking. They are going toe-to-toe, right, left, and here we go again.
And again, Pedro took advantage of Josh rushing him with the punch. Oh, we might see.
He's got the leg. Oh, right with the knee and just missed. And now Barnett readjusts his equipment. Is Barnett starting to get gassed?
Well, this has been a torrid pace. Nice left hand now. Seems that Hizzo's punches are starting to find the range.
Hizzo's at 228, Barnett at about 250. Their reported weights prior to the official weigh-in. Marco Huas in the corner of Pedro Hizzo. And Barnett connects. Oh, the uppercut glances the chin of Pedro the Rock Hizzo.
These two are doing a great job of entertaining the crowd. Lots of aggressive action and some good scoring.
Can Barnett keep this pace, Frank?
He's looking a little tired. His mouth's hanging up a little bit. He's bending over a little bit. I'd hate to see him walk into a right hand or something. He's taking a lot of damage on that front leg.
Hizzo looks fresher, doesn't he, Jeff? As
yes,
the combination lands. And they still go.
If he's going to stay in range and chase Hizzo, Hizzo's going to hit him. If he would stand his ground or back up and make Hizzo come to him, that may give him an opportunity. But chasing Hizzo right now doesn't seem to be a good tactic.
The beginning of this fight, these first 2 rounds are exactly the reason why the sport of mixed martial arts is going to be the chosen sport amongst the combat sports in the future.
Well, the creativity and the variety of the way you can attack your opponent really makes MMA such a great sport. You may find a strategy you want to use, but if you find it ineffective early, you've got a variety and have that ability to find a different avenue to go ahead and become effective. And we've seen that with different fighters as they've matured in the octagon.
Josh goes high with a kick.
I don't know if I've ever seen anybody go with Hizzo toe-to-toe this long. Oh, a right hand.
It's over. It's over. Pedro Hizzo has knocked out Josh Barnett.
Now Barnett chased him just a bit too long, ate a right hand, he was stunned. It looked as though he turned his back, but then he went back to engage and he ate another right hand and it ended the fight. Hizzo again demonstrates his punching prowess.
Wow.
Right up on the temple.
Boom! Oh. And it was over as Pedro the Rock Hizzo, the 4-time Brazilian Muay Thai champion, has knocked out Josh Barnett. Watch it in super slow-mo, Jeff.
You saw him, he reached one too far, one too many times. Once that temple shot stoned him, Hizzo turned that corner right on the chin.
Here.
That put
Big
him
right
down.
hand.
Oh, big right hand.
Now Josh was chasing, there he is, he's chasing, and that led to walking into that right hand. Mario was coming across the referee to try to intervene, but he got that second punch off.
Look at the show of affection right now between Pedro the Rock Hizzo and Marco Huas. A loving hug from his hero to his star pupil. And Josh Barnett is going to be just fine. And I'll tell you what, I already had respect for Josh Barnett before tonight. It just grew immeasurably as we are set to get our official decision from the veteran voice of the Octagon, Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 4 minutes and 21 seconds, we have a winner by knockout for the man from Brazil, Pedro the Rock Pizzo. This was rounds of pure UFC heavyweight action. Let's have a big hand for Josh Barnett.
It is a star-studded event inside the Octagon and a star-studded event outside the Octagon. Lightweight matchup on the card next. Here tonight from Atlantic City, Fabiano Iha against Phil Johns.
They call me the Little Giant. Phil Johns, Bryan, Illinois. My fighting style is a mixture of Muay Thai, kickboxing, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. Punching and grappling skills are my greatest strengths in the ring. This is my UFC debut. My record is 21-9 in mixed martial arts. When I step into the ring, I'm only focused on my game plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout is a 3-round lightweight bout with the fighter now making his way to the Octagon. He is a Vale Judo expert making his UFC debut. Standing 5 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 158 pounds. Fighting out of Canton, Illinois. Please welcome Phil Little Giant Johns.
Quick and powerful, but fighting a man who is a bit heavier, but not much, in Fabiano Iha. Lightweight matchup, and Johns an impressive 30 fights in mixed martial arts competition. 4-time All-American, won the Nationals at the Division II level in the NCAA. Has good wrestling skills, Frank.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler, very accomplished in wrestling. Wrestled in college, was an All-American. He won the Nationals at NCAA. He's heavy-handed, and he's a quick little mover. This guy's a fire plug.
You want to talk about a fire plug? Look at his opponent at 5'8", 168 pounds. He is representing Brazil, Fabiano Iha.
Fabiano Iha. I was born in Brazil, but I live in Huntington Beach, California. My best weapon is armor. Not making time. I'm gonna stand up with him a little bit, play his game. If I cannot beat him stand up, I take him to my game on the ground and try to meet him on the ground. Lightweight belt. That's what I'm going for.
And his opponent now entering the Octagon. He is a jiu-jitsu and Vale Judo expert with a UFC record of 2-2. Standing 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 168 pounds. He is originally from Santa Catarina, Brazil. Please welcome Fabiano Iha.
Iha, I believe at times, defined in Portuguesa, means armbar.
That's not bad, Goldie. That seems to be his MO when it comes to submission, and he's very, very slick at it.
You know I speak in Portuguesa.
I didn't know you were so well versed.
Speaking of well versed,
very good at submissions. He's worked on his striking a lot, and he's got the size advantage here. And like you said, he is the master of the armbar. Don't let his record in Octagon fool you. 2-2, it says. This guy fights all the time.
Tail of the tape for Fabiano Iha against Phil Johns in the lightweight division. Jiu-jitsu master against Vale Tudo, 2 years different. And look at Johns at just 5'2", the little man, taking on a smaller man, but much larger than him tonight in 5'8", 168-pound Fabiano Iha. but with the body at 5'2", 158. How much arm might be available off the body of Phil Johns?
That's a good point. Fabiano, I was very concerned. He says, I've never fought anybody shorter than me.
Fabiano.
And I had the opportunity to watch Johns roll around and do a little bit of grappling, and he seems to understand submissions, good at takedowns.
Are you ready?
Mario Yamasaki, our referee, and we are underway in the lightweight division. Fabiano Iha won his last fight by knockout against Daiju Takase at 224 of the first round at UFC 29 in Japan. He's back again tonight here at UFC 30 as Johns makes his UFC debut.
Johns wrestled at Southern Illinois University. That was Larry Christoph, an Olympic medalist for the United States. He was his coach.
Oh, a high kick. And it goes off the side, the left side of Phil Johns. Now he wants to take Iha down, can't do so.
Iha using his height advantage there.
He did a nice job of getting to the fence, and that's going to keep him from going down here with just a straight body lock. Johns needs to drop down, control the hips, and then he can pull the hips out away from the fence. But that's not going to happen here, and it's Iha now who controls the tie. Looking to muscle Johns over.
Scheduled bout of 3 5-minute rounds, and finally down it goes.
And this is Iha's world right here. We'll find out exactly what Johns knows about submission very quickly.
Nicknamed the Little Giant, Phil Johns, his UFC debut against a very experienced fighter in Fabiano Iha. Iha defeated Laverne Clark at UFC 27 by armbar, after Clark had earlier defeated him in his UFC debut.
Iha was really smooth on that guard pass.
Yeah, he was.
A little bit tangled up, but he just flowed right through it. Looked almost like he was riding Phil's body on the way across.
Did a nice job of avoiding the takedown attempt of Phil Johns too, Frank. What's the key there? Look for the armbar. Look for the armbar.
There it is.
Johns tries to spin out, can't do so. As I said, when you speak in a Portuguesa and you say Fabiano Iha, you define it with a definitive armbar. That did not take long at all.
No, it didn't. And you got to wonder, you know, I mean, it's one thing to train with somebody, but you got to have somebody of the caliber of Fabiano Iha if you're going to try to learn how to defend that kind of bar arm. He went up high, past the guard, and he knew what he wanted to do.
Phil Johns, a great sport at 32 years old. Take a look at how Iha sets it up, Jeff.
As it starts out, they each trade kicks. Iha's landing in the rib area, Johns in the leg, but once he was able to get side mount here, you could see him going up tall, and right there you see John's arm up, and Iha just travels around the head, goes plain, able to extend the arm, get the arm bar. Very smooth, very slick.
Fabiano Iha, his record goes to 3-2. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to a tap out by an armbar, we have a winner of the first round at 1 minute 47 seconds. For the winner from Brazil, Fabiano Iha!
Well, certainly tonight will continue to get better because the belts are about to be presented to the winners of our fights still ahead this evening from Atlantic City. The middleweight belt, also the new bantamweight belt, as Kaaro Uno is set to take on Jens Pulver. But then you have Dean Thomas, you have Ramona Sato, and Dennis Hallman. The bantamweight's a new division created by our leadership at Zuffa, and the smaller guys oftentimes, Frank, can be the most dynamic and the most energetic.
Absolutely, they say speed kills, and this is a perfect example of it. All these guys can beat each other on every day. In fact, Uno just beat Sato, and Sato was considered #1 in the world, and now Uno is considered #1 in the world, and now him and Pulver got to go at it to see who's really #1.
I know it's not Japanese, but in Japan, Uno, Jeff, is numero uno.
Well, he is numero uno, but among these contenders, Thomas defeated Uno.
Yep.
So really, there is a lot of parity in this weight class. Perhaps it's whatever country they fight in, that home court advantage that can make the difference. But on any given day, these talented athletes, either one of them can come up the champ.
You like the bantamweight division being created, Frank?
I love the bantamweight division. This is, the little guys are awesome. They get it on. They never stop moving. You never see them rest. It is constant action. And like I said, speed kills.
And so does punching power. Jens Pulver has it.
I have to agree with speed kills, but somehow, you know, being a heavyweight, I somehow think heavyweight's pretty good too.
Well, we can have a heavyweight, middleweight right here if you guys want to go.
We already did that, and Frank came out easily.
Still the champion, Frank Shamrock.
Rematch.
Always an Olympic gold medalist, though, never a former gold medalist. Happy to be in the booth tonight, and happy to get set for the bantamweight title fight. The first ever title fight in the bantamweight division. Jens Pulver is set to take on Uno. And Uno is truly considered around the world numero uno. And Jens Pulver in Uno will contend for that. This is what is on the line. That beautiful belt, which goes to the greatest bantamweight fighter in the world today. Will it be Uno? Will it be Jens Pulver? We are moments away from our first of 2 title fights tonight.
My name is Kaoru Uno. I'm coming from Kanagawa, Japan. I am a good grappler. This is my first UFC. I want a good fight. Win or lose doesn't matter. Proud fight UFC.
Kaoru Uno, the bantamweight, 5'7", 155 pounds, considered the top 155 and under fighter in the world.
Well, there you go, Frank. His breakdown on Uno. Why don't you take us through it?
Uno is excellent. He is an expert at submission, and he never seems to get riled. No matter what you do to him, he never loses his cool, and he's a good striker. Watch him to throw unorthodox strikes.
So Kaoru Uno is ready to fight here tonight. Jens Pulver, his opponent.
Jens Pulver, Seattle, Washington. They call me Little Evil. I don't smile, it ain't funny. My left hand's my best weapon. I'm on you until it's over. I'll stop your shots, I'll wear you down. I'm gonna hit him and forget him, take the belt home.
As Jens Pulver enters the octagon, let me tell you 2 things that you do not know or may not know about Little Evil. He is a college graduate, criminal justice sociology major from Boise State, a double major. And he is truly in this for fun, because as he has said over and over again, if it's not funny, I won't laugh and I won't smile. And he is set to defend his undefeated record at 3-0-1 inside the octagon, coming off the devastating knockout here back in November of John Lewis, and try to capture our first ever bantamweight title.
Now, Pulver has devastating power in his hands, and he's really developed those skills as evidenced by that knockout of John Lewis. And I look for really Pulver to try to use that punching power in this fight, probably try to avoid going to the ground, keep it standing, Frank.
Absolutely. I really think Pulver's biggest chance on this is a knockout or to wear Uno down just by punching.
I'd just like to make a quick correction. I said that Thomas beat Uno. It wasn't Thomas. Cremato of Brazil beat Uno. Then Mishima beat Cremato. And then Thomas came back and beat Mishima. So that really does set up the bantamweight class as the great weight class.
The bantamweight class and Jens Pulver. Let me tell you something about Jens Pulver. He dedicated his last victory here inside the octagon to young Dusty. And Dusty carried that tape around for a long time. Dusty, a 17-year-old who was terminally ill with cancer. Dusty died last Thursday. And what? Young Jens Pulver told me before the fight yesterday, he said that God decided he'd rather have Dusty in the ring with me tonight than watching on TV. Go get him, Jens Pulver. Set to take it on against Uno right here for the bantamweight title.
Ladies and gentlemen, these two men have just entered the world-famous octagon to see who will leave with the coveted title and the belt, declaring them to be the UFC Bantamweight Champion of the World. Let's begin this 5-round championship bout with the fighter standing to my left. He is a Wajitsu expert and wrestler with a mixed martial arts record of 10-2-2. Standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 153 pounds. Fighting out of Kanagawa, Japan. Please welcome to the octagon, Kearu Uno. And his opponent, standing to my right, he is a Militich Fighting Systems expert with a UFC record of 3-0-1. Standing 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing in at 153 pounds. Fighting out of Davenport, Iowa. Please welcome back, Jens Little Evil Pulver.
Little Evil set to take on Uno for the bantamweight title fight. With a big fight comes Big John McCarthy, our referee here at UFC 30.
All right, for the Bantamweight Championship, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get on!
What do we look for here?
I think Uno's a great showman. You're going to see him do some wild stuff. Japanese love it. He has that style wide open, and as they said, unflappable. So he'll take risks regardless of where he ends up.
Not only will he take risks, he'll take huge chances. He'll expose things that just seem crazy, but he always seems to come out on top.
I'm interested if he's going to shoot. Supposedly he has a good single leg. Pulver with a wrestling background should have some pretty good counters for it as well.
Something we should note here is this is just the second southpaw that Uno has ever fought, and he did not look comfortable, Frank and Jeff, the first time he fought against a southpaw.
It's a big switch when you get out there and everything changes. Oh, nice. He's on 2 knees, though.
The shot, there's the single leg now. Let's see if he can finish. Pulver pounding on him. Nice job of sprawl.
Pulver hammering with the right hand. As Uno tries to work the left leg, he wants to take Pulver down.
Runs the pipe, but Pulver able to come back to sprawl. In against the fence. Good sequence of action here.
They are officially engaged.
Absolutely, and what a great scramble for position.
Oh. And Uno blew a lot of energy there. Blew a lot of energy shooting on that leg, and he's shaking his head.
He did. He seemed really surprised that he didn't get Pulver down. He seemed really shaken by that.
But the scouting report on Uno is he's unflappable. So let's see how he recovers from that disappointment. It is going to be, we think, tonight in this match.